Here with my guy Eric Kane talking about the defensive line, and my other guy Rodney Garner. Coach G has got himself a really solid unit, got some key pieces returning. And it all is led by Omari Thomas, who is the vocal leader of that group, who is the kind of established veteran in that D-line room.
Yeah, you saw Omari Thomas early on in the 2022 season kind of take on the role of Matthew Butler, playing 40, 50 snaps a game, maybe even more against some of those early opponents like Pittsburgh. And then as the season went on, you saw that rotation get a little deeper, and that's good for Omari Thomas. But defensive tackle, there's not a whole lot of bodies there, and that's something we got to watch going into fall camp. You got 4 bodies there, especially with DeJohn Terry heading to the transfer portal. Omari Thomas is that leader. Bryson Eason is a guy that the staff and Rodney Gardner really likes, a guy that came in as a linebacker, could play a little safety in high school, was defensive line, moved inside. And then some guys behind him like Elijah Simmons, kind of now or never. So Omari Thomas leading that group overall, but especially a key player for that defensive tackle where there's not a whole lot of bodies.
The first couple of years, there's been this player or two that kind of went from, yeah, okay, to all of a sudden, whoa,
Yeah.
Is Elijah Simmons that guy this year? Because I think he potentially could be the guy that finally the light comes on and all of a sudden is just really, really good.
Yeah, and if you're Tennessee, you're hoping that's him, right? But I mean, again, I understand the naysayers, if you will, because coming in he was a freak, and then he's been on the athletics freak list each of the last 2 seasons because he can run, he can lift, he can clean. He's 340 plus pounds, but he's quick off the line. He's got good hands, and we've seen flashes of that in the past, but he's never consistently found a role. Injuries have been an issue. Obviously, trying to keep his weight down has been an issue for him, but everything we heard and everything that we saw, it wasn't a whole lot in spring, it's been good. And so you hope that he can take that step and be a guy that you can count on for 15 to 20 snaps a game. I think that'd be huge for Elijah Simmons, and maybe he can make a couple plays.
That's right. You brought up Bryson Eason. He is one that the coaching staff has a lot of hope on, because he has really got himself in the best shape of his career this offseason and has more twitchy type mannerisms than just about any D lineman, especially interior D lineman that Tennessee does have. Let's move to the edges. Tyler Barron, Roman Harrison, and then obviously the young kids, Josh Josephs, James Pierce. What about Caleb Herring? What about, Sean Davion Bradley, guys that can come off the edge?
These guys give Tennessee's defensive line group, Eckler, Rodney Gardner, so many different possibilities. Because you have those crafty veterans, those 5 techniques like a Tyler Barron. Latrell Bumpus is no longer with the program, but Barron can play on the edge a little bit, can slide inside.
Yep.
Okay, you've got Tyree West, who's already been in some of those Rabbits packages in the past already. You've got Dominic Bailey, who was kind of the guy that made a leap.
Yeah, and he's one that you can't forget about. It's easy to forget about Dominic Bailey, but he's really kind of steady Eddie. He's kind of like Latrell Bumpus.
Yes, and made a big jump in the minds of the coaches during last offseason. Saw a little bit of playing time. So those guys can slide inside if needed. And then the Leos, Roman Harrison is just kind of always there, right? He will play 45 snaps a game. He got to be pretty productive towards the end of the last regular season, so that was good. And then you have the high twitch guys. You've got the Joshua Josephs, the Pierce, the Caleb Herrings. Those guys are long, physical, trying to get their weight up, and Tennessee really needs to get after the passer this year. Get it with those front 4, and I think those 3 specifically need to help Tennessee out in that regard.
Yeah, most all of those guys you've seen either last year or at least in spring practice. 2 X factors, David Hobbs and then Tyree Weathersby. Hobbs had to sit out spring with the labrum that he suffered at the end of the last regular season for football, and then Weathersby didn't hear till the summertime. We just don't know at this point what they will be, what they have to offer.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see both of those guys. Obviously, Hobbs is a 5-star and committed to Tennessee late in that cycle last year, out with an injury in spring. So I'm excited to see what he can be. And Weathersby was one of my favorite commits in this class.
Yep.
He's long, he's physical, he's got the weight. You can put weight on him, bump him inside. He can be that 5 technique in the future. I just look at Tyree Weathersby. If you can come in, learn the system, learn how to be coached by Rodney Garner, we'll see if that role can expand and what you can get out of him. Again, he wasn't here in spring. It'll take him a little while. He is a true freshman, but especially in the future, I think that's going to be a player for Tennessee.
He is Eric Kane. I'm Austin Price, talking defensive line on the Volquest.com positional previews.